Hello, everyone, and welcome to Armstrong in the Loop podcast. I'm your host, Seth Prentice, and today I'm honored to be joined by Chip Rowan, Community Marketing Manager for the Armstrong office in Connellsville, PA. Chip, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Seth. Good to be here with you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Of course. Chip, we were thankful to have Deneen O'Donnell on the show in the spring to announce and talk about the 10th anniversary of Breaking Bread. Would you like to expand on what she shared with us and what the importance of 10 years of this program means for the community?
Sure. Armstrong is really excited to be able to help the communities, the community food pantries for the past 10 years. Breaking Bread started in March of 2010, and it's a four-pronged approach. And how we attack hunger is through collecting food for food pantries. Also, with time, actually encouraging our employees and the community to volunteer at the food pantries, and in collecting money so that those resources can be sent to different feeding programs and helping them to buy resources that they need. And then probably most importantly is awareness, helping the community to know what the need is and how they can help to meet that need. So those are the four areas that we hit on. And Armstrong is in multiple states. We're in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Maryland, West Virginia, and Kentucky. And in all those areas, we're able to impact about 200 food pantries, which is a lot of help and a lot of need there.
That's amazing. And I'm sure, Chip, over the time, you've had to try to get creative to collect money, raise awareness, food supplies for those food banks.
Yes, we have. They do their own personal drives too, but we try and find out what their needs are. And then sometimes different months will have a certain item that we're collecting. Sometimes it's a paper product. It's not even food. It's just something that we know that they need. Sometimes it's detergent and things like that they could use in their home. So we do try to get creative. We try to switch it up a little bit to encourage our customers and our employees both to donate. That's actually where the resources come from, customers who come into our Armstrong stores. We have 13 different locations that they can come into the different systems. And also our customer service center in Butler, the employees there collect food, and then our corporate office in Butler too. So we try to engage all those people, employees, their customers, and work together to get as many people donating as we can, and then try and find unique ways to encourage them to give.
And Chip, I'm sure our listeners, some might not know, but you have a background in working with a community food program, correct?
I do. Actually, before coming to Armstrong in 2017, I was actually the executive director for Connellsville Area Community Ministries, which operates the largest food bank or food pantry in Fayette County. Wow. So I was there for almost 5 years, and that really kind of gave me an insight into what that need is, and also just to kind of understand how that works. So that's helped me to be effective in this role in helping lead the Breaking Bread initiative for Armstrong. And we have a committee that works together, and through that committee, we were able to put together some plans and figure out ways to help attack hunger in our communities that we serve.
Well, real quick, before we get to some of those ways that you're attacking hunger, what is the biggest takeaway that you were able to get from your time as executive director of the Connellsville Community Ministries?
Part of the biggest takeaway is that, different people have needs at different times. So some of them may be working a job and being very successful, and all of a sudden something happens in their life to kind of throw their life off the rails. And that could be a sickness in their family. Maybe someone gets sick and they have to take a break from work, or it could be unemployment. It could just be something that happens to kind of derail what they're doing. And so I found that, many of us are blessed and don't really need the help of a food pantry, thankfully. But those that do, sometimes it's really not their fault. Something has happened. And you see that as a bridge. And that's what we ought to really look at any type of assistance as a bridge to take them from a point where they have a need to get them to a point where they're self-sufficient. So I guess the biggest takeaway is to help to be that bridge, that we could actually help to move people from a place of need to a place of self-sufficiency.
No, that's fantastic. So now let's get back into your committee, finding new ways and interesting ways to help combat hunger. What is one of your biggest programs that you like to do during the year?
Well, our biggest program is Avenge Hunger Month, and that is actually in September. September is Hunger Action Month, and so we actually focus on that as a time to do a big collection. Armstrong actually, through Breaking Bread, in an average year, we collect around 50,000 pounds of food and right around $15,000 in a normal year. But a bulk of that actually comes in September. So this is our third year. 2020 will be the third year for Avenge Hunger Month. Started in 2018. In 2018, we actually collected 36,000 pounds of food. So you can see if we're collecting 50 for the whole year, 36,000 of that is coming in just in September. And then last year, we collected 41,000 pounds of food for Avenge Hunger Month. And $12,000. So as I mentioned, 15,000 is a normal year. So that big September push is what really gives us the resources that we need to help those 200 food pantries that we're able to help. So we're looking forward to this September. This year is really different because of the COVID-19, but we're still pushing to collect as much food and as many resources, financial resources as we can.
Well, and I'm sure the event season for this year has been impacted by the pandemic, and I'm sure that's changed the way that Avenge Hunger Month will be held in communities with the local office. What is your
certainly, yeah, it certainly is. Sorry to interrupt you there.
No, you're fine. What is your group trying to do to comply not only with state guidelines while trying to fundraise for the food banks?
It makes it difficult. Social distancing changes everything because in our role is to be with people and talk about how Armstrong is part of the community, and a lot of that's that interaction. So we are thinking of new ways, and Avenge Hunger Month is changing because, as you mentioned, we're big on events. So typically we're collecting food at events, or we're utilizing a school district and they're collecting food at some of their events. And right now it's so unique, and we're having to really think outside the box on ways that we can be more creative. In May, we actually had our first virtual 5K, and that was our first way of kind of thinking about how can we collect money and food and do something to help the food pantries and not be with people, to do that virtually. And the first one was very successful. We actually collected, got a note here just to remind me, about $9,000 for that first virtual 5K. So that was one way to think kind of outside the box. And then we had about 250 participants, and they could do anything from run to walk to bike, treadmill, however they wanted to participate. So that was successful. And so we're actually looking for this year, for Avenge Hunger Month, that the Avenge Hunger Virtual 5K would actually be our biggest tool for raising money, raising resources for Breaking Bread. So that's going to be happening here in the month of September. So that's one way we're looking. And then we're just still trying to engage the community too. Like here in Connellsville, we utilize a couple school districts. And I was concerned that wasn't going to happen this year, and actually still concerned because I'm not sure what's going on with school, to be honest with you. But the teachers are really interested in still being involved. So we're just trying to find new ways to do that. And we'll see how that goes, but we're still pushing forward. But it is unique. But the thing is, the need is so big right now because of COVID-19. There are a lot of people out of work that had good jobs, and life was probably pretty secure for them. And I talked earlier about something happening to derail you. Well, COVID-19 is one of those things that happens that you aren't expecting, that you have no control over, that really derails you. And so we have people that are needing the help of a food pantry that never needed that before, and probably never thought they would need it. So we see the need for the pantries. If you watch TV, you see the Pittsburgh Food Bank is having distributions, and there's traffic for miles. And not only is that something we're seeing locally, but if you're watching the national news feeds, you're actually seeing Pittsburgh on there, and it's showing about the amount of people that are needing food. So in order to feed all those people, there needs to be a supply of food coming in. And a unique thing too, Seth, is how it impacts children. School was out in the fall, or actually in the spring, excuse me. And right now, we're not sure what's happening in the fall, but in the spring, the kids weren't in school when they normally are. So typically, kids are actually getting 2 meals a day in school in most school districts now. They get breakfast and they get lunch. And in many districts, that's a free program. or a deeply reduced program. So families actually depend on that as part of feeding their kids. If you have 5 children and they're getting 2 meals a day at school, and all of a sudden you take that away, there's a need there that needs to be fulfilled. And so many districts, school districts, are trying to do that. Some of our Armstrong systems actually help with programs like that, backpack programs where they actually help to provide food. So we're always thinking ways of helping those programs too, because it's definitely never the children's fault. I mean, they don't make those choices to put the family into some type of chaos or that sense of need. So we're helping to supply those programs too, and then helping to feed the kids. And that's a big push for us too.
No, that's amazing. Let's get into the virtual 5K first, and then we can go on to some of these other programs. The virtual 5K, is there anything special about it that the public needs to know? Is it a little different from the virtual 5K in May?
Actually, it is a little different. That was kind of a learning one for us. We actually were trying to figure that out, and it was successful. It went really well. So now that we have one under our belt, we're looking to have a second one. And the neatest thing about it, anyone can participate. I mean, I've never ran in a 5K myself, but when we had the one in May, I actually took my bike and I was able to do that. So I can do biking. You can even do it on your treadmill. You can walk around your neighborhood. Some unique things about this one is that we're encouraging people to dress up like superheroes. Avenge Hunger Month has the Breaking Bread Man and Breaking Bread Woman, which are our characters, our superhero characters that go with that as part of that theme. So we're encouraging families when you go out and do your walk, your bike, however you're going to do that, is to dress up in some type of superhero costume, take pictures of that, and actually post that to social media and share those pictures. We're using the hashtag Avenge Hunger 5K, and you can tag them with those. So this is during the whole month of September. You can start signing up now. If you go to armstrongonewire.com/breakingbread, there is a tab on there that you can actually register. It's $20 to sign up. There's like a $3 and some odd cent fee to cover some of the expenses, but $20 all goes to help feeding programs in communities, and that's how we actually raise the money. And you can also donate too, so you can actually go on and pay your 20 to register, and you can give an extra 30 if you make your donation 50, and we encourage that too. And if you don't even want to participate, say, hey, you're more interested in sitting in your recliner and watching Armstrong, that's a good thing too. You can actually just make a donation, and if we encourage you to do that too, and that's on the same link. You can go on and just donate. A unique thing is you can set up a team, actually have a fundraising team, and you can set your own goal to raise money for your team, and then you can utilize your own social media, Facebook, Instagram, and actually there's a tag you receive, and you can start raising money for Avenge Hunger Month on your own and with your own team.
That's incredible. What do participants receive from doing this, Chip?
Well, they actually receive a personalized virtual 5K, Avenge Hunger Virtual 5K medal, and they can receive a finisher certificate, and they can also print out their own, what do they call the number that they wear? The
runner bib.
The runner bib, that's it. As you can tell, I don't run much. But you can print out your own bib, and you can wear that when you're actually dressed in your costume going around the neighborhood. And so that's going to be a neat part of that. So, and there's a chance for you to help your local food pantry too. We're actually going to award, Armstrong is actually providing this. This is not from the money that's raised, but this is just Armstrong providing this. The first 3 places actually will receive $250 for first, $150 for second, and $75 for third. And that money goes to a food pantry that you designate. So you could actually say, hey, I want that to help this pantry in my community. And Armstrong is going to make that donation in honor of you, of being first, second, or third, to that food pantry, that feeding program that you want to help. So feeding programs can be anything from a pantry to a soup kitchen, or to maybe even a larger supplier like a food bank. So you can figure out who you want to help and how you want to help them.
That's incredible. I'm guessing I can go on now. I can register. I actually participated in the sign up, and then is there a timeline I have to do this in?
Yeah, good question. You can sign up now. It's active right now. You can go on today and sign up. The deadline to register for the race is September 23rd. You need to get on before the 23rd to register for the race. And then the deadline to donate is September 30th. So registration deadline 23rd and donation deadline is the 30th.
Awesome. Uh, and we love to help everyone out there, so I'm sure this is going to be a great program. Is there a goal that you have at the end of this on how much money that you're looking to raise for the food banks?
Yeah, actually, there's a couple goals. The first goal is for Avenge Hunger Month. Our goal this year is it has set a number of 50,000, and that 50,000 actually is a combination of food, money, and time. So we take the pounds of food and we add that to the dollars that are raised, and we add that to the hours that are actually volunteered. And those three numbers come up with that actual overall number. And then the other goal is actually for the Avenge Hunger Virtual 5K. We have a goal of raising $15,000 just through that part. And I'm hoping that'll be more. That would be, I wonder if that would be like $25,000. And as I mentioned, we did one in May, and that was an early start when we learned a lot of things, and it was successful. My hat's off to the Armstrong employees. They really pitched in. We had employees shave his beard and eventually shaved his head, and people were donating money to support that. So that was a unique thing we hadn't even planned on. So I'm hoping that happens in this a virtual 5K too. We have some people working, not only as employees, but some of our customers and just the community pitched in and helping.
No, that's exciting. And now that you have the opportunity for local organizations to actually compete with one another for bragging rights of who can raise the most money.
That's right, exactly. And Armstrong is really just a conduit for this. So we collect the resources, and our role is to get that food to these pantries. So we do encourage everyone to get involved. And sometimes it may be easier to bring donations to an Armstrong store than it would be for you to actually get to a pantry or a food bank. So the virtual 5K allows you to give without even leaving your home. You can go on and register online. You can participate in your own neighborhood. You could actually, if you wanted to, participate in your house through participating on a treadmill. So it's a socially distanced, safe thing that you can do and still help. One of the things I have found personally is during this pandemic, I don't spend as much money as I used to. And because you can't do things, the movie theaters haven't been open. You can't go to most events or things, so you're kind of hesitant to travel. So things that I was typically spending my money on, I'm not. So I would encourage people, and I'm going to do this myself, you have the extra resources, share those at this time. Take that money and participate in the virtual 5K, give an additional donation. I have more time on my hands too, and I'm sure others do too, and take advantage of that time by encouraging your friends and your neighbors and using social media to promote the virtual 5K and set up your own team and try and raise some money. If we have, all it would take is 15 people to say they're going to raise $1,000, and we would have our $15,000. That's actually a pretty simple thing.
That is pretty simple, and hopefully we do. As I would love to see the $15,000 hit here by the middle of the month of September.
That would be great, yes. And it's great when we were able to share that with those that are needed, and the pantries really appreciate it. They're so busy right now helping to supply people, they don't have time to do something like we're doing right now. You put together a promotion. It takes time. It takes a lot of time to do all the legwork behind the scenes. So I'm glad and proud to be part of Armstrong, where we can actually do this work, set this up, and then just share the funds with, as I mentioned, over 200 food pantries throughout all the different states that we're located in.
Chip, something that the public might not be aware of is that money for food banks is actually sometimes more valuable than actually just donating goods, correct?
That is correct, and that's a very good point, Seth. The food pantries actually get their food from the food bank, and the food bank actually gets that from like an organization like Feeding America. And if I was to take $5 and go to a local grocery store, and get $5 worth of food, I would get so much. But a food pantry can actually multiply that. I think it's 5 times, so they can get 5 times more. So instead of getting $5 worth of food, they're getting like $25 worth of food. So money is a great thing. And actually, in some of our systems, and the Armstrong systems, the food banks are not taking food. There's a concern with contamination and just passing germs with passing food. So money is actually an easier thing for us to actually route to these pantries. And the nice thing is they can use it for what they need. They know what their needs are, and they can go out and buy those things through their suppliers. As I mentioned, they can stretch that as much as 5 times.
That's incredible. Anything else that you would like to share with our listeners today, Chip, that we might have missed from earlier?
I think we hit on everything. I just want to encourage people to participate. And those who already have helped in the past, want to thank you. Appreciate you helping and how you have given in the past. As I mentioned, we're collecting around 50,000 pounds of food a year, able to share that around $15,000 in past years. So I just want to encourage people, now's a unique time in all of our lives. And sometimes we can forget about our own problems when we help someone else. So I would just encourage you to give and participate in the race. We need exercise too. I hear people talking about, they always claim if you eat at home, you're going to lose weight. Well, I don't think any of us have found that to be true. So I would encourage you to exercise, either that be walking, running, biking, treadmill, however you want to do that. But you can do that, participate, dress up in your superhero costume, take some pictures, share those. So this opportunity has some fun too, and just do something different. I know some of the employees with Armstrong have already had their kids engaged in dressing up, and they really enjoyed that. And they made the mistake of telling the kids early that they were going to do that, and they were insistent that they do that. Been excited to do that, but it just adds a little bit of variety to what may be in a typical day, and change that up a little bit. So I guess a closing thing would just be encouraging people to help.
No, and we definitely want to make sure people help, donate, and get the word out there. We will have the link to the actual Run website inside the notes for the show, so you can go ahead, click on it, register, or donate right from this episode. I want to thank you, Chip, so much for being here with us today. And we hope not only do you hit the $15,000, but we also hope that you hit 50,000 pounds for the total for Avenge Hunger Month.
Well, thank you, Seth. I appreciate the opportunity, and I wish you well as you're collecting food and collecting money in your system too.
For Armstrong in the Loop podcast, I'm Seth Prentice, keeping you in the loop. Are you enjoying Armstrong in the Loop podcast? Great news! All past and current episodes are available on popular streaming apps and websites. Search Armstrong in the Loop podcast and subscribe today.